Hello there. Thanks for watching News Echoes on World Affairs. My name is Shegun Johnson. I'm so glad you're watching. We got a load of things to discuss today. We will be starting with the World Health Organization and the Traditional Medicine Summit. You've not heard anything about this at all, but don't go away. We have in the studio, all the way from commercial city of Nigeria, Lagos, Bidi Nana. Bidi, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Sherry. Thanks for having me once again. Our viewers all around the world, thanks for joining us again. And let's do it like always.
Okay, and in faraway Milan, we have Mark Godwin. Mark, you're welcome to the program. You've got to unmute yourself for us to hear you.
Morning, Dr. Shaka. Morning, everybody in the house. Good to be back with you guys again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The World Health Organization Summit is being held in India, and the question has been, what is World Health Organization doing with traditional medicine? This meeting is taking place to showcase, especially in India, where millions and millions of people depend on traditional medicine, and people have been surviving on this kind of medicine. The normal Western medicine have said that traditional medicine is unreliable and nobody should go for it because there are no serious measures. The risk have not been measured, and nobody should depend on traditional medicine. But where the Western medicine is not available, what else do you want the people to do? Mark, let me start from you. The World Health Organization is now taking seriously traditional medicine. Number one, the question is, what is traditional medicine? According to the World Health Organization, it includes herbs, it includes yoga, it includes some other means of curing ailments and preventing ailments. But whether that is enough, I don't know. What other things have you been hearing about this summit? Mark, we can't hear you. Mark, we cannot hear you.
Yes, World Health Organization is having traditional medicine. It's a two-day event going on there in an Indian city called
The audio, the
Gandhinagar.
audio, your audio is not good, and I may
Okay,
have to go to, I may have to go
okay.
to
Can,
BD in
you can hear
Lagos.
me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for that. So yes, we were talking of the health.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we're sorry, viewers. I just have to go to BD. BD, the traditional medicine in Nigeria has been there before we have an encounter with the Western medicine. Do we still make use of traditional medicine in Nigeria?
Of course, we do. People
In what
still use it
measure?
very.
Hmm.
Uh, Maybe let me say at 40%. Before
Wow, that's a
the
lot. That's a lot.
yes, yeah, we still do it because even the educated ones, the informed ones, you still see them even after um, um, having issue, they go back to what they know as abo. If you go to western part of Nigeria, see today,
Hmm.
no matter your education, no matter how informed or exposed you are, they believe so much in what they call abo. Even if they go to the clinic or they get any medication they do, they'll still go back to abo. You'll be surprised. Nigerians still use it. Now, the who coming now, I'm even surprised that this is the first summit for traditional medicine by who, because it's been there in so many ways. They've tried to condemn this, the
Why did they
importance
condemn
and
it?
the
Do they have genuine reasons of condemnation?
It has everything to this sentimental. They don't have any genuine reason. I'm telling you, it's actually something I'll call sentimental. They don't have any genuine reason because if you ask me, most traditional medicine works. Even before we came to discover the the foreign medicine, like in Africa you asked about, they've been treating themselves with traditional medicine, and they've been live better than they live now. If you ask me, like in
But
Nigerians, our
Bidi,
form,
we're going to be factual here. Believe me, I'm not on the
yeah.
side of anyone. If you have a challenges, will you rather go for traditional medicine, or you will go to the conventional hospital like we know it, General Hospital in Lagos?
I know I'll go to conventional hospital. I know. But what the point I'm
Mm.
trying to know, even before the era of conventional medicine, the traditional medicine has been there, and our forefathers have been using it. And if you look at it, majority of them live even better and longer and healthier than we that use the conventional medicine today.
But
So
the challenge
who
has
coming
always
up
been,
with this?
mm,
The
the
challenge
challenge
has
has
always been
been,
the measurement.
yeah.
The challenge
China
has
uses a
always
lot
been the
of traditional
measurements.
medicine. Yeah,
Yes, the challenge has
but
always
but
been
the
the measurement over
But how do
usage.
you know the measure to use? How do you,
you
the
the
conventional medicine
conventional
say
medicine
take
say take
tablets a
tablets a
day,
day.
I mean,
two
that
I
is
tablets
think
a
what
that
day.
is what that is
that that is what
that
WHO
is
will
what
do
we
now.
will
The
do
World
now.
Health
World
Organization
Health
will do
Organization
for
will
coming
for
into
coming
it
into it
to ascertain
to
the
certain the
measurements and the
measurements
dosage.
and the dosage.
That is what
That is
the
what the
traditionalists don't
traditionalists
have.
don't have.
They know that
They
this
know that
work,
this work,
but they don't know
but they don't know
how you're going to
how you're
use it
going
or
to
the
use it or
quantity
the
you need
quantity you need
for it to
for
work
it
on
to
a
work
particular
on a
illness.
particular illness.
Now,
I'll
what
come
health
back to
Now,
you.
what
organization
do you?
I'll come back to
I'll
you in
come
a
back to you
minute.
in a minute.
Audio
Audio
challenges.
challenges.
Sir
Sir
George,
George,
you're welcome
you're
to the
welcome to
program.
the program. Thank you so very much. Greetings, Dr. Johnson, BD, and my Godwin, all the way from Warsaw, Poland. We just want to say hello and welcome
Yeah,
viewers from around the world.
you sound
You
very
sound
good.
very good. Thank
Uh,
God. I'm rested.
I'm, su- I'm sure the
I'm sure
studio
the
will
studio
rectify
will
the rest
rectify the
audio.
rest audio. Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we
Well,
were just
we were
talking
just
about
talking
the
about the
World Health
World Health
Organization saying
Organization
on
on
traditional
traditional
medicine
medicine
in
in
India.
India.
What are your
What are your
immediate thoughts?
immediate thoughts?
Do you
Do
support
you support
traditional
traditional
medicine
medicine
being used?
being used?
Whether you
Whether
support
you
it or not,
support it or
50% of the
50% of
world
the world
is using
is
it.
using it.
And so,
And so,
why don't
why
we
don't
just
we just
do all the
do all the
scientific
scientific
experiments to
experiments
narrow
to
it
narrow
down
it
to
down,
save
save
using?
using?
But then,
But then
they're
you
not
know they're
normally.
not normally. Well, traditional medicine, like Didi said, has existed for many, many years before the, what they so-called civilization came to us. Civilization actually started in Egypt, and Egypt was a black nation. And we know the advancement of, the type of technology, medicine that they had, even to the point of, most of the pharaohs that died, their body was still discovered because it was mummified. Now, my grandfather actually was a traditional medicine maker, and it was only during his burial that we discovered hundreds of people that were barren, that couldn't have children. But it was my grandfather who actually, was able to use natural herbs to make them to become pregnant. So, and they had several. Yes. So now, the thing is about traditional medicine is that, they imported some of these medications, and they let us think that what they are bringing to us is better than what we have traditionally. And we bought into it and discarded those that were given the skills and the gift traditionally to use herbal medication to cure us. But one of the major disadvantages, oh, let me mention one advantage actually, because the doctors can actually diagnose you, and most of the time we're able to tell you what is really wrong with you. But in essence, most of the medications that they give to us, it will cure one thing, and then you have hundreds of situations, that could actually occur to you as side effects. Now,
Yes.
what we have done that is wrong is by abandoning what we had prior to, the infiltration of, these colonial masters, and letting us think that what they have given us is better than what we have. But one of the major drawbacks in using medication, the traditional, the imported Oyibo medication is this. Number one, most of these pharmaceutical companies will never give you something that can cure you right away, while the herbal medication can actually give you an instant remedy and a permanent remedy. Secondly, they will dilute what they have given you, all in the name of trying not to harm you. But what it does, it holds off the disease until your body cures itself. I have a friend that owns a pharmaceutical company in Atlanta, in Toronto, Canada. And one day after the convention that he went, he came back, we went out to eat. He was so angry. And his anger was, why are these people so bad? They have cure for most of the things, but what they do is they don't want you to be healed right away. They want you to depend on those medications so that they can make money. They claim that they use billions of dollars to do research, but in essence, really, they want to make money and make so much money that they are using you as guinea pigs to hold you off by giving you diluted version of that medication until your body heals itself. So this is what we have. Think about, the pandemic that took place. They have actually discovered the medication that will cure this, the disease that was causing during the pandemic, but they held it back for so long until nations were in demand of it, and they started making trillions upon trillions of dollars using people as guinea pigs in order to be able to make money. So that's one of the drawbacks that we have. Traditional medicine is pure, it is good, and if you know those that God has given the skills and the talent to use it, you will say, like, Billy was talking about, many people will use this traditional, like, even up until now, most of the things that we use, like bitter leaf, it cures a lot of things. Bitter cola cures a lot of things until we discover.
We're told about ewedu, I don't know the English or botanical name, and that it does a lot of work, but people use it for vegetable in Nigeria,
That's exactly right. And listen to this, though. Most of this medication that they give us, they come from leaves.
Yes.
And when the Bible talks about healing is for the for the nations. The leaves are for the healing of the nations. Those things come from there. But what these people will do, they will they will research it, they will find it, and then they will dilute it to the point where it will not cure you, but it will hold off the disease for so long, and you will depend on those medications. And nobody is asking them questions.
All right, thank you. Mark, can you talk now? I'm not sure because we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Good. Yes, thank you very much. I think this is a beautiful thing, topic we're putting out. And I'm happy George has said so much relevant issues there. Yes, the traditional medicine is going on right there in India, like we said earlier. The man that is even the WHO officer, the chief president of WHO, he understands also the power of traditional medicine. But you see, it's the problem we face in the world now, like we used to say here on SSM network. People want to be correct, politically correct. People want to say things the way everybody wants it to sound, and nobody wants to say things out of the box. While he was opening that event yesterday, he said, yes, traditional medicine is good, but still people should wait for approval from the science and the science, WHO science, scientific evidence that they will be bringing out on such traditional medicine. So you see that there's a clause to WHO still agreeing to the fact that traditional medicine does a lot and has been doing a lot to mankind. George talked about bitter cola. BD talked about some of those things. And yes, Dr. Shegun, a lot of these traditional things have actually saved many people. In fact, it is those things that many people rely on in Africa. You know, we don't have access to the
Western
conventional
medicine,
medical arrangement in Africa. You know, so there are people in Africa that have never been to hospital before.
Mark, look at the other side
Yes.
of the coin. They are talking about evidence and efficacy. If you say this leaf cures malaria, does it cure malaria? And what is the efficacy? That is, to what extent does it cure you without adding problems? So in medical terms, they say evidence and efficacy. And evidence means statistics. And because they do a lot of statistical workouts for you to be able to approve a particular medicine, and they check it out with a standard of deviation. If we give it to this person, how many people that will benefit from it? So they call it evidence and efficacy. How do we balance that where we don't have scientific statistical evidence and efficacy? We can't hear you again.
Okay.
We can't hear you again.
Can I take that question?
Yes,
While
take the
he's coming
question,
up?
please. Yeah,
Say,
go
you
on.
see, okay. Efficacy, they say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Yes.
Okay, and we do know that a lot of people, for instance, in the case of my grandfather, the efficacy of it and the power of it is all dependent on the number of people that this medication has actually, or the herbs that he prepared was actually able to make them to become pregnant. So the question is this: we do have all this, but those data are not collected. They are individualized by individuals who experimented on these medications and then it worked for them. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to data collection, one individual can tell you how many people they have helped, and the people who have actually experienced those medications can tell you what it did for them, and there were no side effects. But because these data were not collected statistically and be able to be measured in a way that it can give us, an accurate number of people or near accurate number of people, that is the only thing that we lack. Now, if we can bring all this herbal medicine and able to collect data whereby we can tell who got cured, how long they stayed cured, whether it's permanent or temporary, or how long they have to take this medication in order to make them, feel well, and there are no side effects, then we will see the efficacy and the power of this medication. And that's the only thing we could actually use in order to let the world know.
Thank you, Sir George.
Also, added to that, Dr. Shegun, can I say this, that the Africans as a continent, we are all evidence to the power of herbal and traditional medicine. A lot of us got healed through this. So if the white man is waiting for data and efficacy and all that, I mean, we are that evidence,
No, it doesn't work that way. It has to be systematically done. It has to be systematically done. Out of 1,000 patients, they were administered with this drug, and this drug has affected 900 people positively. The remaining 100, they have to see. That is how it is done. So
that
it's not
efficacy, we don't have it in Africa. But we don't have that efficacy in Africa. And that does not mean it's not working. That is why this summit is very, very good. But just that it's coming late. I've expected them to have done this earlier, because all these traditional medicine, they work, but they have to be purified, harmonized. Do you understand? And use them
Okay,
very
let me
well.
tell you, Bidi, the question that was coming your way is this. Listen carefully to the World Health Organization. This is the guidelines for herbal drugs. World Health Organization guidelines for herbal drugs. For the safety of those using herbal medicines, 4 complementary actions are needed. 1, clear identification of the nature of adverse effects. 2, the nature, the management of the risk. 3, institution of measure to prevent adverse events. Institution of measure for good communication of the risk and benefits of herbal medicines. Those practicing herbal medicine in Nigeria, for example, and just like India or any other developing countries, they don't have the awareness and the understanding of meticulously having a statistical data to measure up to what the World Health Organization has said. And Billy, that will be the challenge, won't it?
Yeah, of course, it's actually a challenge. I must be frank with you. That's actually a challenge the Africans who practice this traditional medicine face. Because we have a situation whereby you're taking it for a particular thing. It works in both ways. You might be taking it for a particular thing and it's working another thing and actually destroying another thing. We don't have that in this part of the world. Do you understand? The data analysis is not there. You don't have
Yeah.
the correct data analysis of it.
Let
And
me
the
ask
ad-
that, George. How do we now improve on this one, knowing fully well
What
that
we
most
can
of our
do,
herbal doctors, they didn't
what,
go to school like our MBBS.
you see, what it is that we have not enhanced on what we've had. That is the major problem. And we look down on those things so badly that we abandon them completely and then go over to the other side and start saying, okay, well, this is the way it's supposed to be, rather than enhancing what we have. There are so many young people that have this gift and skill from God who can actually go to the field and bring some herbs and put it together because this is something that God gave them. But what we need to now do is this what you call the homeopathic medication or medicine that is done by herbs. We can put these young people together who now can go back and start studying these things and then enhance or make it a little bit more in a way that you can collect data. They can use it and then collect the data of the number of people they give it to and then put it out there. Because what is happening is it is humanity that is suffering. If you look back in the days of Solomon, how can a man marry 1,000 women,
Ah,
700 and 300 wives? And now, only a few days ago, that we're getting the yellow and the blue pill. This man must have had something that was working for him to have 700 wives and 300 concubines. It got to
yeah,
come from the herbs.
let me respond to Sir George's
You see?
submission. Sir George is 100% correct. But the thing is this: Africans did not abandon their medicine. It's actually the Western world that came and told them that it's not good for them and sold to them what is good. Now, me, I think Western world knew that this is working because nobody is perfect. They would have helped them to harness this traditional medicine to work efficiently and work better. But no, what they did was they took them out of it and they abandoned it. And they are just coming, waking up now. I'm happy.
okay.
I want
Let me
to.
tell you what happens in the United Kingdom. There is a law here. You must apply for you to use traditional medicine. You must apply for a traditional herbal registration before you can market a traditional herbal medicinal product in the United Kingdom. It is normally called a THR, the herbal registration. Is only granted if the medicine is used for minor health conditions where medical supervision is not required. For example, cold. They said you can only use herbal medication for cold. I wonder how many people will be wondering going for herbal medication. How about the two major challenges of the world, cancer and HIV? How many people, if you say the problem is evidence, some herbal doctors will tell you, yes, I can cure cancer, I can cure HIV. But do we have evidence? I'll just give you, let's just take it 1 minute each, starting from Sir George. How about those big ones in United Kingdom, only for cold? Can you imagine?
Let me tell you, I say to you that we have survived many of these, what we call the major diseases like cancer, like all the rest of them. For instance, a very a good pharmaceutical friend of mine, actually found cured for cancer through leaves that were growing, on the wires of Jamaica. But guess what they did? They shut him down. They shut him
That's
down.
it.
These
That's it.
wires, these leaves, they were spiraling over, those the wires, that electrical wires, and when you use it and put it into the cancerous cells, they will start dying slowly. When he wanted to bring it out, they shut him down, and that's part of the frustration that they had. Why was it so? Because they did not want it to come out from them. They wanted them to be the ones to bring it out. So they shut him down. He was so frustrated. He came to Nigeria and wanted to start his own practice there, whereby that he was unable now to use those particular leaves from Jamaica, to bring this things about. So that's one of the major problems and drawbacks that they have.
I agree with you. Money is always challenging the reality on the ground. Bidi, in Lagos and different parts of Nigeria, we hear things like paraga. We see women carrying bottles of hot drink and roots in them. Have they been working?
Of course, they work, but still in Nigeria, you must register. But we always, in every society, we always have the deviants, people who don't obey the law. But in Nigeria, before you sell traditional medicine, you must be registered before you can sell it. Do you understand?
In Nigeria too.
Say paraga, and then, yes, you must.
But I see paraga people at the bus stations and everybody.
Those are the roadside people, and the government is actually after them. But you know how this thing works. You go after them, you take them off the street today. After 2 days, they are back again.
They are back
in
again.
Nigeria,
Okay,
yes.
That's my friend. That's actually my childhood friend, my classmate. When I was in secondary school, Dr. Anyakora. He's saying additionally. Yeah. So he's a shout out to Dr. Anyakora all the way from Abuja. We greet you. That's my childhood. I grew up together with him. So he said the aspect of incantations often adopted by famous traditional medicine doctors may be difficult to put into statistical platform for scientific measurement. Yeah, okay.
That has added another thing, Sir George. Most Christians will not want incantation. Yes, Mark.
Yes, I want to say, but then also Dr. Godwin Ipe is with us, and that's a very vital mouthpiece on this topic too. So, Dr. Godwin Ipe, I hope you can join in the stream, join in the frame.
Yes.
Dr. Shagun,
Yes,
I want to say that to an extent, first of all, I want to thank Dr. Tony Anyakora. Yes. He's with me. I'm in line with what he just wrote. Dr. Shagun, do you know that during the COVID era, a lot of traditional doctors were healing people? But you see, there's something that's happened to the world, and that is everybody doesn't believe in anything traditional again, except it is the scientific and it's coming from the West. So this modern lifestyle has corroded our mind, and we feel any other thing is not it. They will tell you, no, don't use that one. Doctor didn't say you should use that. But do you know that in Ghana, during the COVID era, Ghana was telling people what to do, simple things, garlic, ginger, and things they were healing.
There's no evidence they work. But let's ask the man who.
No, Dr. Shagun, you keep saying this evidence thing. What evidence do you need? What matters is somebody is sick and is healed. That's what matters. What do we want to do with evidence?
Wait a minute. This World Health Organization summit, let me just quote it for you. They say it's going to be an evidence-based approach.
That's what they said, because they are all playing to the book. They are playing to the book, Dr. Shagun. Okay, you know this.
We have a medical doctor with us. Dr. Godwin Ibe, will you practice medicine in Russia? Will you be allowed to use? No, that's not a fair question. What's your take on this? Let me ask you a fair question.
I was about to enter the systematics of the question.
I choose to humble myself. What's your take on this? Let's hear your take.
My take is that, the world generally, the scientific world is focused on what you call the EBM, evidence-based medicine, and we still have some traditional medicine that actually we traditionally known to work, because otherwise there'll be no things like physiotherapists that use some of all these traditional methods. For example, the Chinese is the most popular, the Chinese Oriental medicine and all of that, especially with the acupuncture, what you call the moxibustion, and other things like maybe massage, concentration exercises. Yoga has been known to help people, especially people who have mentally and people going through stress. It's been known to help. But, in terms of operationalizing how much it helps, because in science, we are looking for how much does it help? Is it significant? What percentage does it help? These are very difficult parameters to operationalize, but generally, sometimes do they help? Yes, they do, and China is a good example of that. India,
and how do you think we can improve so that they can come to light side by side with a traditional Western system? Or
by making it open source. By not able to have their own secret. The main thing about making anything accepted in the scientific community is by allowing it to be peer reviewed. If it can be peer reviewed, then it has a very high chance for it to be accepted in
well, like Tony from Abuja said, how do you peer review the incantation that is spoken into the thing?
Well, you just say how you say it. Just say it the way it is. Give the manual. The manual. For example, if I say atutu puyoyo, a stone changes to a frog, just say it the way it is.
And then someone in England will say, he told me to use a given. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on a short break. When we return, the African Union and ECOWAS, they are bent on going to Niger Republic. What will you say to them? Don't go away, we'll be right back.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that you can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Shegun Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Shegun Johnson, The Final Solution. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget The Final Solution.
This world, changing your mindset.
My Isaac. I am visually impaired.
I'm a cripple. I'm crippled in both legs.
I'm a builder. If you people can able to get me a laptop or smart big phone to be cover project.
Baba Aluko from Nigerian of the Blind in Lagos State. All I just need now is a smartphone. I don't mind any type. Just for me to be selling my products and facilitate my job. With a smartphone with me, I can do my free traveling on the line, and I don't need to beg anybody for money again.
Business Summit and Fair 4th edition is set to digitalize physically challenged business owners by gifting them smartphones, laptops to enable them to do their business properly and effortlessly. Business Summit and Fair is an annual advocacy business program advocating for friendly business environment for SMEs in Nigeria and physically challenged business owners. Since the inception of this program, we've revived so many SMEs and taken off the streets so many beggars, inculcating in them the spirit of owning and doing their own businesses. It is after the COVID, many of them have been left behind for lack of having smartphones and laptops. Then they used to have their businesses along the road or in a marketplace. Now there's a need for them to be carried along into the e-markets, and we need to do that by gifting them smartphones and laptops. Join us this year, 21st September 2023 at Radisson Hotel Ikeja, Jerry, as we have our annual events, digitalizing physically challenged business owner. It's the topic for this year.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Thanks for still watching us. Nick Echoes on World Affairs. We are glad you are still with us. I just saw the digitalization of physical challenged people in Nigeria that bidding and everything. Is it possible that our viewers can pay you in foreign currency now?
Yeah, they can. They can pay in dollar, euro, or pounds. All the payments.
What do they need to do? What will they need to do?
The payment is in our portal there. If you just go to their portal there, you see it's there. The payment is there. You can easily
So if
pay
they go to your
anywhere
website, they can find it done?
Yes, it's there.
Okay, for
pay
those
in
of you
any
who want
currency.
to help the disabled in Nigeria, have smartphones and laptops and crutches, and it's worth it. And I'm sure no amount will be too little. £5, £10, £20, £500. Why not? And all you need to do is put in the GTB and the SWIFT account number. The account number for GTB is GTB INGLA, INGLA, and your money will be there. Whether you live in Paris, you live in England, or you live in Moscow, or even from Warsaw, you can send money to that good cause right now. Thank you very much. Now let's get back to the business of Niger Republic. The ECOWAS are taking their case to the African Union, soliciting support. The African Union military are divided into two. Some said they should go into Niger Republic to fight. Others said no. The meeting that was held in Accra yesterday, ECOMOG made up their mind they will be going into Niger Republic to reinstate Bazoum. I don't know how this will be done, but it appears they're insisting that they will go. Dr. Ibe, what's your take on this? I still don't see the sense going to Niger Republic.
And there's obviously no sense, both in terms of the cost and in terms of the principle. I don't exactly know what we want to prove and to whom. I mean, when I say I don't know, I mean like sarcastically, because we know it's doing the bidding of, bigger geopolitical powers. Now, speaking about the cost, I said even if you do not know much about mathematics and about war economics, you only just need to use Google Earth and take a look at the satellite imagery of devastations like you can see in Ukraine, you can see in Syria, and then you have a revelation of how Niger could look like if Niger decides to make his country the football stadium for the fight of geopolitical powers. Now, about the principle, there's absolutely no principle whatsoever. Whether it's called democracy or it's called whatever, there's no principle to fight because there are currently wars everywhere. There are wars between geopolitical. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, millions have died in Syria. Russia is in Syria. US is in Syria. They all have who they support, have their parts in Syria. If you talk about, and the thing about war, when war starts, the truth will even be hidden more. The people who are fighting the war will tell you everything is fine, we have everything under control, it's just a few deaths. Meanwhile, those few deaths are people's families, people's fathers, sons, brothers. They won't tell you on the war, like I say, when a war starts because one person decides there's a war, but a war ends only when it cannot continue further. You don't decide unilaterally to end a war. A war ends when it is obvious that it cannot continue further.
I'm surprised they're still fueling this idea of going to Niger Republic. Listen to the defense chief from ECOWAS member, the Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Abdel Fattah Musa. Let no one be in doubt if everything else fails. The valiant forces of West Africa are ready to answer to the call of duty. By all means available, constitutional order will be restored in the country. Where were these people when unconstitutional orders are being stolen by the politicians? And these guys are ready to go. Let me ask Sir George because of our time. Sir George, they are bent on going in. Are you still with us?
They are bent on going in only because of one thing. I am still with you. The reason why they are bent on going on is simply because of this. They are trying to protect themselves. It is all about the leaders, never about the people. Because nobody is still asking the question, what is leading to this unsatisfaction by the military leaders who are looking into the politicians that are abusing their power, just utilizing the resources of the nation for their own personal use? Nobody is talking about that. How can you have a country like Niger that has uranium and all these other natural resources, but they are not being used for the people, and you still have incredible amount of people so poor in the nation, and nobody's asking questions? These are the things that we need to really discover and say, okay, wait a minute, who is fighting for the people? Is it only about the leaders, protecting the leaders, all in the name of democracy? Like Dr. Ibe will say most of the time, democracy is not for everybody. Democracy is not for every nation. And even the Western world understood this when they were using some of their puppets like Saddam Hussein, the former president of Egypt, and some of others. They funded them in order to hold the people together. As long as they are maintaining peace in their country, that's all they wanted. But these are dictators. So now, when these leaders were not, Gaddafi was removed. Look at Libya today. Libya is uncontrollable. So what we understand is they're talking about democracy. Look at Niger as a country, 28 million people. Poverty rate is about 90% of the whole entire nation. That means that all the uranium that they are selling is not being used for the poor masses. So, and you are still telling them you want to go to war? Let them go to war and see what is going to happen.
It's even getting worse, George. BD, please respond to this one. We got this news last night. The new U.S. ambassador to Niger will arrive later this week, quote and unquote. Let me read the news. The new U.S. ambassador to Niger, Kathleen Fitzgibbon, will arrive in Niamey, the State Department said on Wednesday. The U.S. official said she is expected to arrive later this week. Fitzgibbon's arrival is a signal of Washington's continued engagement with the situation. State Department Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel told reporters, adding that there are no plans for her to present her credentials to coup leaders and that it is not necessary for the work at the embassy. So they are sending in the American ambassador to Niger. She is not going to present her papers to coup leaders. What kind of slap and insult is it? Bidi, what was your take on this?
It tells you one thing. That's like people have been rumoring. It tells you one thing. They want their Mazu to be restated back. Do you understand? They don't have respect for the military coup leader that is there. They don't even have respect for Nigerians. And I don't blame them, because when our African leaders has become a stooge in their hand, what do you expect them to do? What do you expect them to do? I don't even have problem with all these international bodies, or American or France. I don't even have problem. My major problem is the ECOWAS. Now, there is a coup in Niger. Nobody has did it necessary to hear from the side of the Nigerians. You can't keep imposing yourself on people. Do you know, like Sir just said, if we know the kind of resources that country has, and the level of poverty in that country is 92%. You know what it means that for level of poverty to be 92%? It means that the country is finished. Do you understand? And nobody is even caring about the people. What everyone is paying attention is just the 10 or 20% of the nation. Because of what? Because they are puppets in the hands of the international world. Because they are stooge for America and France. No, let me tell you this. I want to send a message to African leaders and ECOWAS. If this war starts in Niger, it's not going to be only in Niger. It's going to escalate to other countries in Africa.
We really don't know how to end. Let's
know.
Yeah, we don't know how to. It's because it may start conventional and end in guerrilla warfare. Dr. Ibe is a big slap not only on Niger, but Africa. I'm sending my ambassador to you, and she's not going to present her credential. And so why do they have to send her? Why? They're just wanting them. You see, if you want to start war with someone, you will allow the person to make a mistake. Then you have a reason. So let us say something happened to this Kathleen of an ambassador. Then America will have a reason to wage a war against small Niger, isn't it?
Well, we've already seen Nigerian helicopters shot down by anti-aircraft gun by the Niger Gunter. So they are locked and loaded, and they obviously don't produce those weapons. They were supplied by somebody. I don't need to call who. So I don't need to say who. I think the handwriting is on the wall. They just displayed a little bit of capability and lives, innocent lives. Just a little bit of capability and innocent lives are lost. So they are definitely huge costs. Now, you understand in the Russia-Africa summit, Russia wrote off 23 billion of African debt. This is a good way to start. If you want to help Nigeria, I think the bigger nations can cancel debt, continuing what Russia has done. Right now, Niger's debt is about 12.
France and the EU, they have stopped their aid of $103 million.
Exactly. Instead of stopping aid, you should be canceling debt. Help these people. They have $12.72 billion debt. And their debt to GDP ratio is about 50%. And it's forecasted to increase by another 4 billion in the next 5 years. Why can't you cancel off? Their debt is already 50%, their debt to GDP ratio. Why not cancel us and make their life easy instead of going in and massacring most of those people? Honestly, there's absolutely no reason other than just contempt for the will of the people and contempt for Africa as a whole. If they can do this to Niger, as Sir George said, sorry, just 1 second. As Sir George said, many of the leaders who the West have a problem with today, for example, or they have killed. Remember that they were once very good friends of the West, including Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, even Saakashvili of Georgia. Now, people are saying, I don't want to enter Ukraine, but let's leave it at that.
Okay, we understand that the food crisis in Niger is at the highest right now. That there's not much food. Nigeria has closed its border, we are told. Nigeria is going to do everything to fight these coupists, as we are told. And nobody, like BD said, nobody is thinking of the average Nigerian. And Sajo, let's just give you the last talk on this one. Nobody is thinking how they feel in their psychology, in their body, in their... It's all about restore the the old Abdurrahman?
Well, the reason why most Western world want leaders in Africa that are corrupted, that have negative and bad governance or bad reputation, or maybe some skeletons in their closet, is simply because of this. They can hold this against them and squeeze their balls whenever they want. And that is what's happening with our president today. Our president Tinubu. Tinubu, the American government have so much on him that if they release half of it, he is gone, politically and otherwise. And today they are using him. Regardless of all the evidence that Africans do not want to go to war against Niger, they are using Tinubu today as a puppet, because he knows that if they release that information they have on him, he is finished politically. And they will want to have him there rather than have Peter Obi there that has a clean slate and nothing in the closet. So that's what they're using. Rather than having Peter Obi, they will rather even have the PDP president, Atiku, in there, because they have so much on him also. So they don't want a clean person who is going to come out to lead the nation. And this is exactly what they are doing. And that is a perfect way of making sure that they bring back this man, as the president of Niger, in order for them to continue to use him as a puppet.
Does it mean we've had does it mean we have had the presidential judgment already, with what you have said?
No, we don't have it, but there is a lot of influence going on, and we know what the will of this Western world are, against the will of our own people. And this is still supposed to be a sovereign nation. And like I said before, their will, they impose their will, whether it's open or on the ground, in order to have a leader they can use against our own people. The people are getting tired, and we're going to see a revolution soon if care is not taken.
But Bidi, I know you're going to respond, but 36 military officers of Nigeria were killed in Niger State 2 days ago. 36 against terrorists. Is this the military that wants to face the international forces of Russia, Wagner, and all Mali put together?
If you look at, if you had watched social media closely, after that, there was a video, the people that did that, the bandit that did that, and they were, it's actually a warning to Nigerian government to stay away from Niger. And they said that this is just a little to what is coming to Nigeria. And like I said earlier, the way Nigeria is positioning themselves in this Niger crisis, it's not good. Being called the giants of Africa, they are like elder brother to most of these countries, not especially to a country like Niger. The way Nigeria is positioning themselves, it's not good. And firstly, the question you asked, the Western world, a way of making Africans to do their will through food scarcity, it's truly, truly bad. I wish other African countries can come for the rescue of Niger, because there's a serious food scarcity in Niger now. And they've been using it. Let me take you back a little. If you remember during the Nigeria-Biafra war, that was actually what they used to weaken the Biafra, to get that war to the side of Nigeria. And that's exactly what the Western world is doing in Niger now. And it's very, very bad. They can't be doing that to us. They can't always be imposing their will on the people of Africa. That's not good.
Okay, we'll just leave it there.
Bidi, don't worry. Russia is coming. Russia is coming with it. They're coming with wheat. They're coming with provision.
And if Russia comes in, Nigeria should not think they will not be affected. Nigeria should just think beyond their immediate need. Well, we'll leave that one. Tobia's mission was not to compete in the coming competition, but she has been cleared. Who has been following this story?
Yeah, she has been cleared, and actually that thing was said to be an allegation. It wasn't true. She didn't even commit the crime. They said it was to be an allegation, and she said she spoke to her fans. She said she's happy to be back. She's really happy. She has been looking forward to this.
The contention was that she did not show herself up for 3 tests. Is that correct?
Yeah, but it wasn't deliberate.
No, it wasn't deliberate, actually. She moved from where she was living to another place. And these people, they don't tell you they're coming. They might call you anytime, and you have a certain, a limited time to respond to them. So when they were calling her per se, she was already moving and she was not around. So 3 times that I attempted, she was in the process of moving, and that's what they discovered. It wasn't like she was doping or anything like that. The young lady was moving. So when they discovered that, they reassigned her back again, and hopefully she was training while she was in a wedding, so that she can make us proud again. These are the only places where Nigeria can be proud in the movie industry, in the music industry, and in sports. Right now, we've taken over. Yes.
Dr. Ebe, what were they really looking for, and how many hours will it take to vanish? If someone should take one of the drugs that you shouldn't take, does it vanish within 48 hours? So you can dodge yourself within 48 hours. Is that what happens?
Sorry, it depends. It depends on the drug, right? How it's metabolized, pharmacodynamics, kinetics, and half-life. It depends. The fact that she missed means that she should be allowed to take more tests, or more tests should be done. I think it's not so difficult, actually. It's not so difficult if they really want to do it.
Okay, it's always that once you are making it very well, you are top of the highest of the highest, then you are always targeted, isn't it?
Obviously, there's no doubt about that. Somebody is not happy with her or whatever, but I believe she'll come out victorious. She's our hope. We trust her. We love her, and she will
this affect her psyche when she runs in the next few days? Will this affect her because she's been challenged? She's now happy.
Well, she looks strong. Can you permit me to just say one thing, just a little bit digress, just for 1 second? 1 second. 1 second.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to show this on the screen, but it doesn't seem to be able to show. Let me see if I can show it very quick. '23 World Chess Championship. So I think that a lot of our females should get interested in this game because it has a lot of potential. Thank you.
All right. It's on these notes that I'll have to thank you all from Moscow, from Milan, from Lagos, from Warsaw. We hope somebody is signing a pact.
Please, I want to make say a testimony. Please, somebody actually sent me $150 from UK by name Dr. Johnson Melu. Yeah, so I just want to thank
Dr.
him.
Johnson Melu.
Olu.
Let me get the name very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
While you're getting there, I want to say
Dr. Shegu Johnson from London sent me $150. I want to say thank you to him. Is it you, Dr. Johnson? Is it you?
That's him now. What is wrong with you there? Look at this woman. Look at this woman.
It sounds like my name.
Can you imagine?
I can imagine. And even when I think he said something was going to come. I think he also said it.
He mentioned it and he came. This is how you guys miss your miracle. What is wrong with you? Somebody.
George, you wanted to say something?
Somebody sent me 150 euro from London, and you're talking to the man who made a promise to you and fulfilled it. Can you imagine?
At least she's transparent. Let's cut her some slack.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for today's show. We'll come back on Wednesday. God bless you. Bye bye.
I'll be logging in from Toronto.